From child brides to chain makers, from teen moms to trailblazers, from silence after rape to speeches that shake nations, from forgotten names to forces of history. She rolls beyond trauma, past mistakes, and everything meant to break her. This is the Beyond Her Odds Show. Real stories that inspire you to rise, to heal, to lead. Because if she did, so can you.
You're welcome again to Beyond Her Odds Show, and it's brilliantly supported by the Ignite Project through the Beyond Her Odds initiative, where we're doing a lot of amazing projects across the city of Abuja and the suburb, if I must say, around girls' rights and also fighting gender norms and just helping adolescent girls get back to school. And so today on the show, I'll be talking to my guests about a story that when you listen, it breaks your heart. But then when you see her, you say, people will like to say, you don't look like what you've been through. Not at all. She doesn't at all. Like every of the guests we brought on the show, they really do not look like what they've been through, because this is because of the grace of God, like I always say. That's how they are where they are today. And now we're going into the real meat of the matter while we're here today to talk about a story with a woman who was, when she was young, went through something that was heartbreaking. But like I said earlier, she has gone beyond her odds, and now she's using her story to inspire all the young ladies and parents, especially, to be able to go through their own odds and to do better. So welcome, Apostle Jenny.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you on the show. It's so great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation and for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Like I said, you don't look like what you've been, you don't look like what we've had a lot of people come on the show. We've had, and I say that to them when they come here. I'm like, when I hear that story, I'm like, how did you go through all that and you didn't break?
Wow.
It's just, but then I'm blessed to be able to bring these stories through radio to a lot of people out there who might just be going through these challenges, parents, adolescent girls, or even older women right now who are going through these things, who just want to say, you know what, this story is inspirational and I can do better by learning through it. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us the story. What is the background, like your background, basically, before we start to talk about what is this thing that you went beyond, right? So I want to hear your background.
Oh, okay. My name is Jennifer Mike-Alicha, and I was born into a family of 9. I'm the 7th child. My parents were wonderful parents. They were very wonderful. It's not like a story of coming from where parents neglected you or something. Parents were just loving people. They understand what it means to educate their children. But however, life happened. So I'm coming from a family where love is the order of the day, where future is also in sight. Everybody in my family, we have this thing that my parent had a way of making us come together and understand that there's a future ahead of us. Then life happened. So that's all about my background. My background was okay. And if you ask me, I will tell you I'm proud of the parents that bore me into this world.
Yeah.
So,
I'm really happy to hear that, because you know how, like I mentioned, this is our 10th episode.
amazing.
And we've had 10 people come on the show. Well, 11th show, but the 10th with our guest. And I've heard all sort of things. I've heard parents who had neglected their children because some of them felt like, why did I even give birth to you? Why are you here? And some, because they're trying to provide, in a bid to provide for their children, just eloped and maybe went to look for a job outside of Nigeria. And the same child they're trying to provide for, we're not there to cater for the child. We've had all sorts of things. We've had fathers who have gone to marry a second wife, and then everything in the family has scattered after that. So we've had so much, but then I always like when I hear about loving families. We had a guest who talked about her father, how she had a very good relationship with her father growing up, and it's really good to see things like that happen. So I'm happy to hear about.
Thank you.
So kudos to your parents for creating that and loving and enabling environment for you.
They were wonderful.
Yeah. So, but you mentioned something when you were talking about your background. You said life happened.
Yes.
What is this life? What is this thing that happened along the way?
The time I was supposed to write WAEC, that was when everything changed. So my parents couldn't afford 1,500.
No way. Say it again.
1,500 naira.
Wow.
So that was what WAEC fee was at the time. So they were having then issues. 1,500 naira was such a big money
At that
then.
time. Yeah.
So let's not just
Realize
let's not, it was something huge for them. They couldn't afford it, and so because of shame, they didn't want people to know that they couldn't pay my WAEC fee. They didn't want anyone to hear that they couldn't provide. They didn't want to ask for help. They just had a way, to cover all until everything ended. So when it was time to write the WAEC, they now asked me to go to a relative home to stay.
Wow.
That was when my life changed.
But that wasn't a
Everything
bad
about me.
thing.
It wasn't a bad thing if it turned out well.
Yes. I wanted us to point that out because
Yes, it's not
some
a bad
people have
thing.
gone to stay with their relative,
Yeah.
gone on to stay with a relative, and it actually had turned out well.
Yes. It wasn't a bad idea, if you ask me, because they wanted to also cover their shame. And guess what? After some time, the 1.5 wasn't a problem anymore, but the time frame had gone, and life had already happened to me. So their aim of sending me out was just for that period of time. Let me not feed down my self-esteem, their own self-esteem, to let people not question them.
Yes.
So you brought children you cannot train, and all of that. So, but when I got to where they want me to be, everything changed.
I actually just said a couple of minutes ago, I said sometimes it actually works out well.
Yes.
Because we've seen people that have gone on to with relatives and they've really taken care of them. And then, but then we also have seen people, like we have this case you're trying to tell us now, who you came to stay with. And we don't want to mention what relative the person is. That person is here. Just a relative is fine. I know I'm calling on the show. So let's leave it at that. So this certain relative and you stay, but the person didn't do what they ought to do. So tell us, how did you live in that house?
Okay, one of the things that happened to me was I was neglected. So the relative didn't even care. The care wasn't there. I don't want someone to think, were you entitled? No. When I mean relative, this is blood related. It's not as if it's one far away relative.
Yeah.
No. Very close relative. And when I got there, I was excited that it's a family. It's going to cover me. It's going to at least bring life back to my parents, because my parents didn't want to feel bad. They didn't want to just feel so down, get into depression because of my situation.
Yeah.
What's my situation? That I've been in school at SS3, they couldn't register me. So when I got to the place I was living, I'm even tempted to call names.
I know, right?
I'm even tempted, but I won't. So I didn't know. When you're sharing stories and you want it to be as what it is.
Yes.
So you don't need to cover up anything though. But I'm going to just
stick with the story.
Use the word relative or true. So when I got to the place, I was welcomed, and I was feeling at least this is going to be a hiding place for me. The idea is for me to even go for lessons for GCE in the course of the year. But it didn't happen. Everything I was told when I get to this place will happen was not coming forth. And she didn't even pay attention to me. Didn't know a young girl. I was having period. I'm supposed to feed. I'm supposed to do anything. And how old was I then? How old was I? I was just 17. It's not like now 14, 15 years, 16-year-old children are finishing secondary school. I was 17 at the time. And, this thing continued, and I don't have a phone. There's no technology. You can't call out.
Yes.
You can't just report back to your parent. This is not what the people think. So, in sharing my story, I've come to realize that when you're not connected to your children, they won't be able to talk to you. I made effort. I tried to see how I can run out or run back to my family. It's even better I run back, let the shame be there and all, until I started being abused. When nobody's taking care of something, everybody become
exposed.
Expose everybody. People see you as something they can, a commodity. I think that's the right word to use. You become something that everyone wants to, take advantage of. But I know where I was coming from. I know the values. I know what my parents have put in us. My parents has always put in us that fear that, they will always tell us, don't tell lies, even if they are going to kill you. When you see me, my dad will always say that, when you see me, say the truth. That knowledge and that values was there. So each time, and my mom will always tell us, you don't need a man to make money. You don't need to, defile your body. It's always going to be honorable when you get married, and your husband, that idea and that knowledge was in me growing up. So when my relative who I was staying with would send me to a particular person upstairs, and I'll carry food, and when I'm turning back, somebody's touching my breast, touching my bum bum. When you come down and you try to say it to this person,
So you try to
I
call
say
out.
it very well, because that's the place I'm coming from. My parents made us know that you should say out things so that you don't enable your bullies. I've always known this, So whenever I come down to tell her that this is what happened, she will not tell me, shut up, that man cannot do this. But I was being abused. She wasn't paying attention. She didn't even care, She will not tell me, because I send you, that's how you will not be telling me somebody, which breast, is it not this your small thing? She's even not paying, she doesn't care,
So, but she believed the person over you. That's actually what it means. Because I think at this point that if you're listening and you're an adult and you have children, younger girls or adolescent girls in your care, and this person, even boys, but I know, because I say that this show is targeted to the adolescent girls, because Beyond Her Odd show is targeted to adolescent girls. But even boys, and someone is calling your attention to an abuse, a case of an abuse. See, it doesn't matter whether the child is lying, because we've seen cases where later on we found out that the child was actually lying later on. But the cases where children lie are fewer than when they're actually telling the truth. So really, you should pay attention. If you're a parent, this is your courtesy. Pay a little more attention to that child.
Parents,
your guardians and carers, wherever, as long as you have a blooming child, women that are blooming season, and if I even not blooming season, if you, I'm not digressing here, but I'm just trying to say, there's a story that we saw on social media about a little boy that's 1 year old, which the carer was abusing. So you can imagine a 1 year old boy and a carer was abusing child, because the mom left the carer with the child and went to work. A carer she only hired for 2 weeks before she resumed work, and she left that person that she didn't know from anywhere, only had the person for 2 weeks with her precious little child for that's just a year old. So as long as you have a child around your care, and they are calling out any form of abuse, please pay attention.
Just pay attention. Is very important that you listen. Even if you're not going to make troubles, listen and try to investigate. If she had investigated, maybe I wouldn't have, it wouldn't have gotten that bad.
Far,
It went bad at the time. And, I became so exposed, So after everything, and I wasn't working, she goes to work. I wasn't putting a lesson, no skills, and I'm not making demands, but I feel like if it's in our today now, you shouldn't just leave a girl like that, or but even if it's a boy, both genders, anybody can be abused. So this thing continued, and one day I drew her attention that if you're sending me there, I won't go again, that this is what is happening to me. So she now hit me and said, you must take the food. She's always going to give them the food. I don't know what's going on between them. Even to date, I never find out what was happening. So, and this thing was giving me panics. And then one day I had to speak to a neighbor. The neighbor now called out the man and say, hey, you think we don't know what you used to do when this girl comes up? And the man came to tell my relative that I'm reporting, I'm saying things, I'm bearing tales against him, that neighbors are complaining. A neighbor came to confront him, and I got the beating of my life.
No.
Oh my God. I got the beating of my life. And for 2 days, I wasn't giving food. I'm not kidding. No food. And
this is your blood relative.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm telling you. So, and I now went to that my neighbor who I confided in, and I told her that, Auntie, see, I wanted to call her name.
It's okay.
And I told her that, see, for 2 days I'm not eating. Is there any way you can help me to go back to my parents? We were eating at least. It's just why they couldn't register for me. And she said, okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you to go back. And I was really hopeful. You know, when you are in need, you can believe every promise, even if they are not going to come true. So I believed her. Everybody can be aware. That's the name I'll call. So Auntie Mary was all helpful. But she couldn't give me the transport, and she was also worried if something goes wrong. If I get lost, she will be held accountable. So she was also being very careful that, you know, people are also careful at the level of help they can render. So growing up, for me, I will tell you, that part of my life being abused, battered, that was really battered and shattered. That experience shattered me. That was self-esteem is nothing anymore, you know. So the man was able to penetrate after a while.
That's sad.
Because someone who can over-empower you, there's nothing you can do. If you like, shout, and you targeted when nobody could help. And, you know, this thing continued a very long time. And I keep speaking out. So it's not as if someone would say, maybe you are not enjoying it. Enjoy Kiniko for 24 years ago now. Check that time and now. The exposure we have now, the children of now and then are not the same. So many things have changed now. If it's then, you could even run for yourself to the police station or something. Now, this generation are no longer intimidated. Some are still intimidated because I'm still handling cases now. So that's led to me being pregnant.
No.
So I should continue my story, right?
Oh, when you just said that led to be, you know, it's really heartbreaking. So, really, because there's one thing for you to be abused and then get pregnant. There's another thing for you to be in a love relationship with a boy and say, oh, it was just me and him, we're just playing, and then it happened. You know, I wish that we can get one of the stories to share, so we can have two sides of the stories. We're still working on that, but what makes yours really heartbreaking is that you didn't ask for this. You know. At that point, maybe it has gotten to maybe 6-7 months, close to a year at the time, and this person continues to do what they are doing because they're an adult that is in charge of your safety, you know, and protection and care, did not do what they ought to do. You know, and before you go deep into the whole pregnancy thing, I want to also take a few steps backwards to talk about the care that you mentioned, and that includes even basic amenities. So do you get things like sanitary towels, like toothbrushes, like clothes, like underwear? Do you get these things provided for you? At least that one is there. So I wanted to get that context.
No. I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting all of this. And, you know, one of the things I would tell you that happened to me was, it's not even the food right now, because sometimes I see my relative giving people food, but I'm there. I'm there, work for it, and maybe leftovers. You could tell me, hey, take this one, and I didn't cook this food for you, and all. So during periods, I use clothes or part of my pants to do period then. Yes. So it's not even something I don't want to share, because the person today have seen who I am, and has come to realize to, you know, we have moved on, all of us.
Yes.
No. I have no anger in me. What happened to me happened to me. I am not my past. I've moved past that. So even if my relative is listening now, she's listening with this, not with tears anymore, because I've also made sure that nobody is going to stop me from sharing my story to liberate others. So I said all of these things to say cream, everything. But something happened. I had an intervention where another relative of mine visited the city where we were living. And then, you know, she said, you're smelling, you're not bathing, you're not doing this, what's happening? You know, she pulled my pants, and she said, you have candidiasis, because she's a pharmacist. Then she worked in a pharmacist too. You know, she now said, you have candidiasis, you have this, look how you're smelling. She got drugs.
Someone that is coming from outside noticed.
Yeah, she got drugs, she got roll-on, she was now complaining. And you know what? I was still not even willing to say things to her, because I don't want them to finish confronting and leave leave and I'll get
Get
the
the brunt of
beating.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I'll be beaten and all. Now, what I keep asking myself, you know, I keep asking, was it that she didn't notice I was smelling? Was it that she didn't notice that I wasn't looking well kept? Is it, so many questions, or could it be that her eyes were blinded because, or maybe I was looking like a liability to her? So many questions for me to answer at the time. But I just feel that was just wickedness
Heart of man.
yes,
Yeah.
or at that time, I just want to say, is the wickedness of man,
Mm.
right? And some people can be so so mean, and some people can pretend.
Yeah.
I think she was pretending to my parents to say, I should come, because if my mom, particularly, God bless my mom, wherever she is today, she's late, yes. But if my mom had, notice or sense that this person is a pretender, my mom wouldn't have allowed me to leave her side. My parents didn't want us to live with anyone. Even to go for holidays, we didn't do it while growing up. It was just at this junction of my life that they allowed me to leave, because of pressure, because of what people will say. If it's today, let them say now. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Keep on sharing, nothing.
We want to know what happened after you realized now that, oh my God, I'm pregnant. Or did you even know?
Yes, I know, because I usually see my monthly period.
Okay.
When I noticed that my period wasn't forthcoming, I was worried. I wasn't worried because I was pregnant. I was even happy. Let my sister, let her see it. Let me know how she will feel seeing me this way. And I was worried for my parents. Oh God, why this is not what the bargain, this is not the package they're expecting back. Oh my God, all of that. So I would tell you for a fact, I felt bad. I felt there is no hope for me anymore. I felt I have lost sight, I've lost everything. I had a dream while growing up. So how am I going to become everything I dreamt of, everything my parents were saying they want me to be and all? So being pregnant, one way I was feeling, at least this will make her know that truly I was going through stuff. But the other way, I was heartbroken, I was depressed. Children get depressed. Don't ever think that children get depressed. So I was depressed because of my parents. I didn't want them to feel bad, because this will break them. And actually, it broke them. So I kept the pregnancy. So I think it was around 4 months
before everyone found out.
Before she found out. Everybody was noticing that I was growing big. She wasn't noticing again. She was not even seeing. It's not somebody that you're close to, that you're connected to, that you'll be noticing all of this. So I started growing big, and after a while, I think one of my other sisters visited, and she said, no, this is a shame to our family. Shame to daddy, blah, blah, blah. And we have to put it out. We have to take it out. Hey. So, when she was crying and wailing, she was wailing. Oh my God. So they were saying, no, she took me. We are going to the hospital. No, this can't happen. This is a shame to. I said, okay. Remembering where we are coming from, we've always been told, thou shalt not kill. We've always been told the commandments, what a child of God should do, or religious background, So we got to the hospital, and the doctor looked at me and looked at my sister and asked, who among you will be willing to kill this child if I bring the child out and is alive?
That's a tough question.
My sister said, no, I'm not going to kill anybody, but just make sure the child didn't come out alive. I said, sir, I'm not killing anybody. The mother asked me, what do you want? I said, I don't want to remove anything. I want to give birth to this child.
And you were how old at this time? Maybe 18, thereabout?
Yes. So the doctor now asked me, are you willing to be a mom? I said, I'm still a child, going to be a mother to a child. I don't mind. The man asked, do you know the father? I said, no, I know the father. The father of the child.
XYZ.
I know the father of the child. He said, you know the father of the... I said, yes. It's not as if it's one random thing on the street or something I didn't know who
Did
Yes, the man asked, "Are you serious?" So the man, the man got, connected
Interested,
with
yes.
what I was saying, and he asked me again, "What went wrong? You speak so well. What's going on?" I now started explaining, and I broke down, crying, and the man, in his words, he said, "It will not be well with that your auntie." You know. So it was now causing a big doctor in the town then. So the man started giving counseling to me, to my sister, my elder sister, who wanted me to get rid of the pregnancy.
Sad, yeah.
So the man now told my sister that, see, this girl has a strong mind. This girl doesn't want to do this. So you don't know whether she can die through this.
You might lose your life, yeah.
So
it's
please,
possible.
let's go with her will. I will support you people. My sister said she can't take me back to my parents, that this can kill the father, So what we did was, from the hospital, my elder sister took me straight to my father's orderly. By the way, my father was a policeman.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and my father just retired at that time, where they had that financial crisis, like I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us. So my elder sister now called my father's orderly and explained my order to him. And that one said, "Please, I beg you in the name of God, don't tell your mom, don't tell your dad. Bring her straight to our house." They welcomed me, accommodated me, ran medical tests, made sure I was very okay. The wife told me, "After you give birth, that's when we can now fight. For now, just cool off." And every night I was crying. I was remembering, so there are people like this. I was denied the opportunity of even coming to them, So my elder sister was saying that she didn't even know why daddy did not ask for help for this YA stuff and everything. So while we were at it, help came, and I gave birth to the child.
Let's hold it there first. Because yes, my emotions are high because I'm thinking, oh my God. But then I want to take us a step backward, because like I mentioned, this show is we're not just tackling just the story. And I want anyone listening, to go beyond just listening to the story, to listen to the things that are not said in the story. If you listen to us from the beginning, she gave us her background, and talked about her parents being loving and caring. And you might not understand what it is if you are a police officer and you have orderlies, it means that you're not a small person. One, understand that. So just in case you don't understand, that's context I'm trying to give.
Yes.
And for the man that has served her father to be able to take her in when she was going through what she was going through, it meant that her parents were good people. So I'm stopping there to chip this in quickly to say, this is your opportunity to begin to live right, even as a parent. Because see, the seeds that you are sowing right now are what your children are going to harvest later. In my village, we used to say that the tree that you plant today is what will give shade to your children in the future. That's what we said. When there's sun, that's where your children are going to go and find cover, on the trees that you as a parent plant today. So what are you doing as a parent right now that's going to be a cover to your children in the future? Because that is very, very important to note. And so thank God for that man.
Yes.
And thank God for your parents. Yeah, and his wife.
Yes.
Thank God for your parents for sowing seeds in their life. Because if they didn't, you'd have been somewhere else.
Can I say something?
Yes,
here?
please.
And there's something I find that my parents did that weren't right, was this idea of not letting people know they needed help. It's not wrong to ask for help. You understand? It's not, as a parent, maybe you're just there, you don't want people to know. Let them know. Your talk can't even last more than a month. So my parents hate that aspect of their, not having financial crisis. Reason why a lot of people would have helped at that time, but they didn't even know that I didn't write YA because they hid it from them. So as a parent, don't even hide it. You help people. It's not bad for you to fall back at the people you have helped. Imagine when I went back to my father's orderly's house, the wife welcomed me. If my parents were bad to them, they wouldn't have welcomed
at all. Yeah.
Today I have the best of relationship with the woman.
Yeah.
My father's orderly has passed 2 years ago now, but the wife is an amazing person. If I call her now, I call her mommy, and every time if I call her, she's always going to ask after my son. I hope he's fine. How is school doing? When are you coming to visit?
Oh, that's so good.
So they live in Enugu till date. So she's just there like a second mom to me right now.
Yeah.
Even when my parents passed, they were there morning and night. They were always
so
there.
Good. That's so good.
When I gave birth, and I became down, hey, stigma. Girl, should we go there? Hey,
it's a bit of it, because It takes a community to raise and to take people's lives. So
People will reject you. People that doesn't know what led to what you're going through will speak ill of you. So many things happened when I gave birth. Some people will tell their children, don't associate with her. They took her out to go and stay with a relative. She came back with a child. Let me even not go far. Let me also bring the part where my parents were now involved. So after I gave birth, my father's oddly and my elder sister say it's now time to let your parents know. Yes, it's time. So they decided to visit, and then they told my parents. They told me in their words that my mom almost fainted.
I can imagine
that they have been sensing it. That each time they be saying that everything, that she should have come back home, and when they called through Nitel, then there was Nitel. That my sister would say I'm fine and everything.
Wow. Even when
but
you're not,
Mary heard my voice.
Even when you're not in the house.
Yeah, so she was saying she's fine. Don't even know my whereabouts, funny enough. So, and they said my parents just gave the order that he should bring me back to them. Oh, bring her back. That girl has gone through a lot. And some of my husband, some of my siblings are listening to this right now.
You just chip that in that you're married now. Yes. We get that.
When is listening to this show, my siblings and some relatives, because I shared the link, are listening to this. Everybody. My younger brother wrote it on my birthday last week, a week today. He said, our father never called you by your name. My father is always going to call me my darling baby. So, when I got home, my father welcomed me like, it's not just like a prodigal. I wasn't a prodigal child. So my father welcomed me, celebrated my coming back, and told me this is the beginning of greatness. My father reassured me, my mother reassured me, see, you will not live with the stigma that you gave birth. This will be the least thing that this can happen to you. That reassurance, the affirmation. They've not heard my story
at that time.
They only heard what their oddly told them before I was brought home. So when I now got home, I have not even shared what I went through and everything. They were really reassuring me. So as a parent, I'm not trying to say that we have children that will go on their own to be pregnant. We have children, we have young girls and young guys that would have done some things, that you're not proud of. But do you know that your love language can bring back that child? Yes. So mine was, I was just thinking of how to take away my life, because what was life all about again? Now, I have a life to take care of. My life has come to a standstill. And parents are telling me this is not for where you're going back to school. My dad will say you will study law. My mom say you will, that teaching thing you have passion for, you will go to the highest. And I'm able to say
yes.
I'm there.
No, like look at how we're smiling right now. At some point, my face was like, hey, what?
I'm still chasing the dream of my father for me being a lawyer. So I have in mind to go get a degree in law. So my parents welcomed me, and they welcomed the child. And what they wanted to do was, they now told me that they won't even want me to marry someone that I didn't fall in love with. So when they got to connect with the family of the man was interested in, let's marry her, let's bring the child. My tribe now, everybody wants a son, let's bring her back. And my dad said, this girl didn't fall in love, not that they were. I just want you people to know that there's a link between us and you people right now. So a child has been born. The man said, the family now said no, that they want to marry me. My father said, marry you can't marry my daughter already. My brother said, marry where? You can't marry her like that. That's not how to marry. So some people will push their children into marriage that is not meant for them.
Thank you.
They've made mistakes. Yes, something has happened. Mine, I didn't walk into what I went through. What I went through walked into me. So, but I don't want it to live with me. And this idea that especially people from my side will say, when you have a child, you will not marry rightly. It's not true. It's not true. I'm not trying to say everybody should be like me, but I'm saying this. I married I married the best.
Yes, please.
I married the best, and my
Thank
past didn't
you.
stop me from getting the
Yes.
best. So, and I want to say this again to people listening to me. As a parent, we have a lot of work to do.
We do.
A lot of work to do. And one of the things we should do is to first give our children love from home.
Yes.
So no matter what they face, they know that home front is there covered for them.
Yeah.
So when I was welcomed, my mom will always remind me, you want to own some things, you want to teach young girls, you have this flair for children. Please make sure you continue.
Yeah.
You will go to school, you will go and do education so that you can teach, you can just expand this thing. You have this passion. My mom will always be talking to me, but while she's talking to me, I'm thinking about the other way around.
Yeah.
Life, people are already running away from me, people are not going to come close to me. And one day my mom called me and said, I noticed that you always lost when you sit. And she said to me, you're not people and people are not you.
Yes.
And my mom said to me, I quote, my late mom said to me, she called me by my name. She said, Obianuju, and I listened. She said, you are a child of hope. You're going to be a voice that no one can silence.
Yeah, that's very powerful.
And she looked at me again and said, you're going to be so powerful. You're going to be a light. Through your light, others will come to light.
That's powerful.
So learn to speak to your children.
Yes.
Learn to speak to them. The voice they hear from home, no matter what they hear outside, it cannot take away the strong voices they hear at home.
Exactly.
At home is where everything starts.
Yes.
My dad will call me, darling baby, you're going to go to school, you will finish well, you will marry well.
Yes, and you did.
They will tell me you will marry well. You will marry well. You're a homemaker. You're going to make many homes and all. So today, I think all those things they said has come to pass.
Yes, and then you are now doing even more, So now I want you to quickly tell us now, what are you doing with this, your life now, with everything that's happened to you? What are you doing to support other people?
Yeah, I'm doing a whole lot through Jenny Inspires Hub. I run Jenny Inspires Hub, where I also help young girls that are out of school. I also I had a case 3 days ago where a girl that went to write this WAEC that just came home pregnant and was sent out of the house. So I told the parents, why special center? Why? If the child was going from the house, it wouldn't have happened. So special center, special pregnancy. And the man saying, Madam, what are you saying? So what I do currently now is to be a voice to these girls, even young guys, trying to help. I have a lot of people for school fees, pay school fees, sponsor schools, and do some trainings. We are looking into skills, after WAEC, what next? So skills where the children can also get skills, maybe do part-time, and then the child that they have also will not be treated anyhow, or someone will not just force them into early marriage. Some family will not force you into marrying by force. Maybe the man will start abusing you or treating you anyhow because they married you out of pity. Nobody should marry out of pity. I make both to say, don't ever marry out of pity. Marriage is not a do or die affair. Yes, there are good marriages working there. I have one. And I know some people listening to me have good ones. There are bad marriages out there. Does not mean that there are no good marriages. So you don't marry out of pity. You don't marry because of your situation. You don't marry because you want to be making money to give, that's a wrong mentality. And don't force your children
to do the same.
Yes, into what will not give them a future. Every child. Okay, can I tell you how I got back to, apart from my parent now, how I got back to track? And even today, if you ask me how I got to where I am, I can't really explain it, but I know that my dreams started pushing me. My dreams. After all the voices of my parents, my dream will start speaking to me. Remember, you need to stand and teach children. You need to dance. You need to, teach them. So these are the things I do with children. So, by the way, I'm an educator right now. I consult for schools also. So today, each time I sleep, I will not see myself speaking in a large crowd. I would see myself speaking to women, young girls, and I'll be feeling that like, oh, maybe it's my mindset, but it wasn't. It was my
vision and
my
your dreams.
passions,
Yeah.
we are pushing me. So encourage your children to have visions, encourage them to have goals, encourage them to pursue and overtake.
Yes.
There's no limit to what your children can achieve.
Agree.
Yes. There's no limit. The limitation didn't come. And for one day, my parents or my siblings, nobody ever reminded me, maybe you have this child. My son is well treated. On my father's dying day, he gave an instruction. If this boy doesn't want to go, please show him a land to build. Give him all the assistance. And my elder brother will always say, that he's going to stand by his father's wish, except he said he wants to go. But if he's not going, we are keeping to daddy's last wish.
Yes.
So the boy is treated well. Nobody is treating him like
an outsider.
He was not. He's not a child of circumstances. I don't. Never. Oh, never. That child reminds me today. Without him, I won't be here.
Yes.
Is it not because of him I came to speak on the earth?
Yes.
So, without him, I won't be here. Without him, so many platforms. The apostle everybody is hearing today is because I had a story that I didn't allow to keep me down.
Exactly.
Maybe if I had taken my life, I wouldn't be here.
Never.
Or maybe because I had that experience. Maybe you're a young person listening to me. Because of that experience, you now open yourself up to be going to sleep with men. There's HIV
and other things So you didn't, and I'm happy to hear.
So some people, it becomes a
lifestyle.
And that's why I am working so well, so hard right now to help every young girl, so that you don't see it as a license to now start
doing things.
Yes.
I hope that this has blessed you. I hope that you have been inspired by this story and many other stories that we've shared on the show. For those who have been listening to us, like I say again, people are calling. I'm sorry, we can't take calls on the show because we don't have a lot of time, and we want to try as much as possible to unpack the stories and also lessons from the stories for those who are listening. And if you also have anybody you want to tell about the story, feel free. You can just Google her name, Apostle Jenny. You'll find her. You can find Apostle Jenny Mike on _Alicha. You would not miss it at all. You will find her online, and she's been sharing her story, and she's also doing other amazing things beyond this thing that happened to her with young women and girls through her foundation and also her ministry. And then, of course, the hub that she mentioned. So we don't have a lot of time anymore. We are going to have to close the show. But then I want to take, a lot from what she has said earlier on the show when she mentioned, parents, please, your children need you. Your children need you to listen to them. Carers, guardians, caregivers, whoever, as long as you have children you're caring for, that you are their carer, please pay attention to them, because so much is happening in our families and our homes that we have no clue. And for those who your child is telling you something is happening to me and you are calling them off, you are shoving them aside, please, this is your call out, this is your cue to stop, this is your call out to stop. Allow them to express themselves and then follow through with what they are saying, so that you can be able to also provide solutions to their challenges that they are facing. And if you have a child that a relative, they bring their relative's child to you, please take care of them. Please take care of them. Because I'm not saying that it will happen to your own child, but what if it's your own child? Would you like that another person mistreats your child? Think about it and do better. I've seen children who are raised by relatives and they've done so well for themselves. In fact, a certain woman, I know, she was celebrating her 70th birthday. The people who did everything were not even her children. Her children were all abroad, busy. The ones that came up to do stuff for her were adopted children of relatives that she raised. So what are you doing with that relative in your house, with that child that is in your house, that child you're taking care of? And if you have a girl that gets pregnant or is pregnant because of either a love child or she was abused, please embrace her and do better. I hope that we'll come again next week with yet another episode with a beautiful guest like we have, Apostle Jenny. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's not easy to be here, really, but you've done so well for yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're leaving now, and I just want to leave you with the quote that I mentioned earlier for parents. You want to have trees in the future for your children. Start planting it now. Start planting it now. It's very, very important.
Yes.
Start planting it now because your children are going to benefit from your kindness
Yes.
in the future.
Be
They
kind.
will.
Mm.
Your name will open doors for your children and they will help your children. So if you want that to happen to you while you're gone, or even your grandchildren, your children's children, please sow seeds that would help germinate beautiful trees. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to talk to us, you can send us a message on Instagram at Beyond Her Odds. BEYOND HERODDS, Beyond Her Odds, and you will find us there on Instagram. Just send us a message and we'll respond. Thank you to everyone who has been sending us messages to say thank you for the show. Even on Facebook, some people are sending a message and say, "Are you RKD on radio?" Yes, I am. And thank you for all the kind messages you've been sending us. We look forward to yet another episode next week again. Do have a lovely, lovely evening.